Hello and welcome back to another video with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. This time we're looking at the Endwalker launch trailer. We're going to break this down frame by frame. We're not going to focus too much on the dialogue present within this, although it is fairly safe to say that it's Emmett Selk doing the actual narration of this. There's just too much to read into with those, with that dialogue, but I really have no idea where to begin with that. Maybe we'll look at that in some other video where I can piece that together, but yeah, for the most part it's just very ominous and there's a lot of sort of connotations. It's not exactly you know, put together in a way that makes sense. It's kind of like an anagram. So for the most part we're going to mute this and go through and talk about what we see and what things are, or try our very best. So let's just go. So my first reactions to this trailer were like pretty much everyone else's: shock or just sheer surprise. It was just amazing. So this first scene then, literally 7 seconds in, they introduced the idea of going to Old Sharlayan, right? So we'll be going on a boat. Presumably that's where we're going in this. I would imagine since Old Sharlayan itself has a dock and people were arriving by boat, that might be the only way to get there. Although, of course, you could speculate that they're on their way to Thavnair, but if you look at the people that are going there at some point here, then this is the silence. So it's very clear that Y'shtola might have came back as like an envoy, or maybe, I don't know. This is us preparing to go somewhere on a boat, all of the Scions together, including ourselves, Estinian, we have Grahat here, we've got Tataru, who's basically saying goodbye to us on our journey, so she's staying around, as is in the dialogue itself. Beautiful pictures here, beautiful, just really nice cutscene. Thancred looking up at the moon. I don't know if this is suggesting that he already, you know, knows what's going on up there, or maybe that's the ultimate goal, or maybe they're still trying to figure out the significance of the moon at that point in the storyline, but it's still very ominous. Moving on then, this is the first scene we get of the ship leaving, Tataru saying goodbye basically. There's the logo for Creative Business Unit 3, who do incredible work with these especially with these cutscenes. This then is what really kind of surprised me, is that we have this picture of obviously Amarot. This is the fall of Amarot. What we've never seen before is what was underneath an ancient's mask. Okay, so we always had them cowled, the hood was always up. We've never actually seen their head. As you can clearly see here, this guy has a ponytail, or this character has a ponytail, showing clearly that they are one of the mortal races, basically, or at least human or something with a mask on. Now, that wasn't immediately obvious previous to that, in my opinion. You know, hair and skin color is quite clearly seen on here if you were to zoom in on these frames, which is quite surprising, actually. But, I mean, this character here looks female, this guy looks male. Then, I don't know, it's really interesting. It makes me wonder if this is more of a complete flashback of the fall of Amarot. Maybe it's a little bit clearer for some reason. I'm not really sure. This next scene then is clearly in Thavnair. They're sort of showing a side-by-side comparison of the fall of Amarot and like the recreation of that fall. We've got meteors falling from presumably the sky or moon or whatever. This is Thavnair, you can see, because of the architecture and the colors of what we've seen. Forests are basically being set alight, which means that that other dungeon we looked at with the forest that was on fire, my guess is that that is in Thavnair as well as the Tower of Zot, which means then that the dungeon in particular basically will have the big statue guy as a boss. Probably these lots of little squiddy creatures. I call them squiddies because what else are you supposed to call them? Like Calofistaries, that's what they look like, aren't they? Void creatures, as lots of the mobs inside there. This is another scene of the Amarot, right? People dead on the floor, telling more story. Then you have this scene, which is still in Thavnair, This to me looks like this will be some kind of boss. I don't know if this is a statue or if this will be a boss. It's ominous. It's kind of weird, honestly, and I didn't see this in the media tour when I flew around. I didn't see this particular statue, if that's what it is indeed. But the the forest that's on fire kind of adds to that credence. Or maybe they did a bait and switch with the Tower of Zot not actually being in Thavnair. Maybe that's a different tower, and that the actual dungeon in Thavnair is this one, whatever this is, with the burning forest, and this as a boss, presumably. That's what I think. Next, we have a scene of, Titanic, the Warrior of Light's looking out over there at the front of this massive boat. There's lots of ominous dialogue here, talking about basically the end. The sort of camera goes underneath the waves there, and then it gets, our tale wends toward the final days. They're really hamming on the end of the world, the apocalypse. I do like this font in the background. This then kind of looks like the underneath of Garlemald's central tower. So I think that this is part of that dungeon where you arrive by a train. We saw trains in that underground area, and in the media tour we didn't actually get to go inside the capital part. The city of Garlemald itself was destroyed, but a main tower in the center was off limits. It was all collapsed. There was no way of getting into it, but there was a subway in the area that we could access with a presumably working train that they were working on. So my theory is that we're going to go underground via the train into this particular dungeon. It might be the only way into the Capitol building, like the castle or whatever you want to call this, and this is what's left of this. You've got all these sorts of different kinds of, I don't know, robotics and spines. It looks like a spine, doesn't it? It's very weird on the floor and damaged, clearly. Lots of voidy stuff. I don't know. This then shows some of the monsters that we'll be fighting in there. We've got death machines, so that backs up my idea of this definitely being inside the Garlean Capitol building, because we see these in Garlemald itself, and I saw them in the media tour in that zone. There you go. That's the actual reality of Garlemald itself. This bit's ruined. I explored this in my media tour footage, and it's just a barren death wasteland. But this massive tower of buildings here that goes up has an entrance. I think it's over here, actually, towards the side of the screen, but it's blocked up with rubble. But there is like a train station underground, like a subway system, so I'm presuming that's how we get in. Moving on then, we see a bit of Alphino and Alice. There is a bit more of that in a moment. This character then, this fella, looks to be one of our new main storyline, probably protagonists eventually, but he seems to have a vendetta against Lucia. Now, Lucia, as we know, is from Garlemald originally and defected, right? Actually defected secretly. She has the third eye, etc. This looks like somebody who does not want her here or has some connection to her. Definitely wants to kill her, so we'll probably see more storyline with that. Alphino and Alice looking like they've pretty much given up. Alphino sort of suggests that basically, you know, these people aren't our enemy. They don't even belong here. You know, I think his exact words were like, we don't belong here and they don't either in the cold. Basically, he's showing empathy towards the enemy that's not really an enemy anymore. Their own people have turned against them. So it's interesting. This is, I mean, that particular scene we've seen before, that kind of just, you know, the brotherly and sisterly sort of connection there. But it does look like they're in some kind of peril or waiting for something. It maybe they've been trapped underground or something. I'm not really sure, but wherever it is, it's clearly very cold. This next scene then, where hearts and souls align. So read into that as you will. I really don't know what to say about that, presumably because of the hearts of Hydaelyn and the souls of I don't know, like Heart of Hydaelyn, Heart of Zodiac, that kind of storyline. This character was introduced, I remember, on a special site. They basically were like, what did they call her? The white-robed lady or something? Lady of Light, the lol. I think that's what Yoshi P called her, the Lady of Light, and everyone was like, oh no, that's lol. So we're the wall, and she's the lol. And yeah, this is clearly Thavnair, in my opinion, if you followed the storyline so far. We have this like glowing flower. I'm not really sure the significance of that quite yet. It says, by their light, forge ahead. By their light. Their light. We've got some colossi here. This is actually inside the Tower of Zot. The reason I know is because this spiny stuff, there's trash mobs inside the dungeon, and once you defeat them, these tentacle spiky things open up to allow you to progress further in, and these are the monsters you fight. So there you go. There's the Magus Sisters, which you actually fight as the last boss all together, but individually as separate bosses for the first 2 bosses. And then Cindy, Mindy, and Sandy all get together, and you have quite a fun fight, actually. It's quite good. This, then, I just don't know what to think. This is clearly a dungeon? Question mark. We've got characters here. These, obviously, we've got scions. It's hard to tell who they are. I've watched this back multiple times, but I believe this is just a trust run, perhaps. This looks like a dungeon to me. I don't think this will be anything other than like a story mode dungeon or something. But this looks to me like, you know, it looks like we're inside Hydaelyn or something. I don't know what this is. What this is like. What connects this? Maybe people recognize this, but there's a lot of implications for all those crystals. It certainly looks like something to do with Hydaelyn. I have literally no idea, but this is quite an exciting shot, more than anything. It also looks like this stuff is connected together like a nervous system or something. Very weird, very obscure. But as you can see, we've got 4 characters here. We've got 3 people plus the main character, which is what makes me... I mean, that's Y'shtola. There's the Warrior of Light. And then I can't tell the other 2. But this is clearly a trust run of something. Then we have a shot of Thavnair on that boat again, talking. This is interesting. So this is the first sort of reaction of the actual council then in Old Sharlayan. These masks are back again, these sort of headwear and this gown. I really hope we can get this outfit. It's absolutely amazing. I just want the veil, to be honest. This transparency on the fabric is gorgeous. They need to do that more often in the game. We got this long gown, skirt, and then this. It looks awesome. I would love to wear this actually on my character. But you've got concerned citizens by the looks of it. And obviously he's having none of it. This then is big news. So this is Anima, which presumably will be a trial fight. Got the Warrior of Light fighting off against Anima. Now, I can't wait to see where this goes. There's lots of speculation because the original Anima in Final Fantasy X was actually born out of Seymour's, the character Seymour's mother's sacrifice, right? To help her son on her journey. It was about sacrifice. That's why it was chained, and there was all kinds of horrific implications. But a lot of people are speculating that this has something to do with Xenos directly, that this is something to do with Xenos or his mother or something. I don't know. It's interesting, very interesting, considering we haven't heard anything about Xenos' mother, as far as I know, in the storyline, but we certainly know about the male lineage. This just looks insane. Anima looks like it's going to do the eye blinky thing and kill things. Yeah, we also have what might be overdrive. This is definitely the special mechanic, right, where you go underneath the platform, and there's the other half of Anima. Oh, disgusting, right? This will probably be like, you know, when you're on Byakko and you're falling as part of that mechanic. That'll be like that. We've got the Stone of Azem there, being clasped together. This is quite an important symbol, obviously, of the Warrior of Light coming to terms with what they actually are, being an ancient. This background is important. This looks like the ruins of like Amarot or something. I'm not sure what this is. It's floating bits of rock. This could be floating above Hydaelyn, you know, the planet. I'm not sure. Certainly not on the moon, I don't think. Then we have this bit where we're unleashing a power. So they're showcasing the Reaper, which looks absolutely amazing, by the way, with this sort of like spectral glow. Reaper's cool. I can't wait to see people play that. There's some of these spell effects from that. Fighting a giant flan there, getting absolutely vaporized. We've got a shot of Alisaie's butt as she stares up at the sky, looking at all of the meteors come down. This is a beautiful shot with basically the end of the world with a big red moon in the background. I still hope for a Lunar tier type storyline development, Final Fantasy VIII style, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Alisaie is not too happy about the end of the world, as you can see, as a world trembles for its demise. Clearly, as it's, you know, it's on the brink of destruction. This is cool. And then we have these sort of like the void sent creatures. A giant dude. It looks to me like stuff is falling from the sky, if I was to wager. I don't think it's just rocks. Yeah, look at this. This is horrific. This is quite a nice new model. It's like an amalgamation of other models we've seen. That you've got all these Thavnairians running for their lives. This guy's just appeared. And they're like, Also, did that guy just explode? On. Watch this. So this guy. What happened? What is going on here? He's like, pfft. Did he get vaporized by the monster? He's got like this weird black mist and he's going, pfft. Yeah, he spontaneously combusts. What the heck? And then we've got inside the dungeon, this foresty, burny place. Like I said, we've got some of those void sent as monsters. This guy is desperately trying to get away, this Thavnairian, setting the scene. Obviously, I do like this turban as well with the gem. That's beautiful. But he's about to be eaten alive by demonic cat dogs. Cat dog is coming to get you. Then you've got this, which is just, I don't know what this is. Lots of faces that are evil in a bush. It certainly looked like they're in a bush as well. Are these bush monsters? Got leaves here. Bush monster. This then, is this Noah van Gebranth? Is this... See, part of the dialogue made me think this is Nero with the hair. I kind of don't want it to be true, but how interesting would it be if Nero tried to become emperor? Also, I know exactly where this is, by the way, and this could be Nero. The reason I think it's Nero is because Nero's engineer. This is the inside of the train. Now, in the media tour, in the subway section, I actually went aboard this, and there's actually a sofa over here that you can't see off screen. And this is actually the driving area of that giant train. So I think Nero is repairing the train to help with them basically going into that dungeon, into the Empire's capital building via the subway using this train. This is definitely the train. So that's awesome. That's awesome. You can see that in my media tour coverage as well. We've got these things, which are basically Lickitung if Lickitung had not skipped leg or arm day. It's pretty crazy, actually. Those things are horrible. I want to vaporize them. All these void sent creatures. Look at these things. They've got like fans around them, like multiple faces. Those are the things we probably saw in the bush. Horrible void sents, new kind of creatures, stuff with red glowing eyes. This then looks like it's in that same dungeon where we're in Garlemald, because stuff is just falling over. We got remnants of machinery there. Like, you see that thing? It looked like a mini Alexander. It's got turrets and stuff that spin around. Interesting. Then we have a lot happened here. So this is some kind of weird serpent thing, maybe one of the bosses in this dungeon in Thavnair. This statue thing, I have really no idea the significance, but you've clearly got a picture here of this guy coming to terms with the idea that the world's ending, and probably still not over the fact that Lucia's there for some reason. I'm not sure. This is the boss then, which kind of looks like an overgrown float, you know, like a parade float. And you've got all those void sent in the sky. That is going to be an amazing backdrop for a fight, by the way, if these things are just flying around in the background. How cool is that? And we're fighting against that. We've got a character here. All right, so these things are like spawning, and then the Thavnairians are like, no. And this is, you know, on the benchmark when we're fighting all of those Void Sent, the benchmark doesn't really make sense for like the storyline, but in this one occasion, it kind of did. That everybody was teaming together against Void Sent. So that's the theme, and it's shown here as well. We've got people dead in the background. We've got everyone fighting to their last breath. We've got Grahatir here. This could be a dungeon, or the same part of a dungeon, or this could be just another area. This then, as we've seen again, just to further elaborate, this is an ancient one. He's got the mask on, but we can see his skin color, the fact that he's humanoid. He's got hair in a bun. This is different. We've not seen this. So this is like a much clearer flashback, if it is a flashback, of what happened before. It wasn't just fire that rained from the sky. I think it was enemies. And we're starting to learn about that. I think that's what this is telling. I'll be amazed if I'm right about this. But the same Void Sent, I think that it is called the Lunar Cry. And you've got here, obviously, Vinar here in a flashback. She's taken off her mask, showing that she is an ancient one. This is what they look like, a lot like us. Basically, she witnessed all of this. So it might be echo flashback telling from her standpoint. She'll be basically allowing us to tap into her memories. This then, definitely, the more I look at it, that's the crystal thingy. It looks like this is either something to do with Hydaelyn or Zodiac, and with the color scheme, I'd say Zodiac. I really have no idea what's going on in this place. We've got Xenos looking on us as we are on the throne. I don't know why we're hunched over like that. I'm not sure of the connotation, but there we go. This bit, I have absolutely no idea. This clearly looks like a dungeon to me. We've got these big demi balls. I will call them demi, because that's what they kind of look like, you know, when Diabolos uses Demi in Final Fantasy VIII. These balls with like portals or something. This ruined landscape. Just, I don't even know what this is. It's like the end of a world properly. This looks like it's on Hydaelyn though. We've got like ruined fortifications and death and spines, and I have no idea. Then we've got Vitra and Estinian charging into battle, talking about Estinian. Or is that Tiamat? I'm not even sure. Probably Vitra. And we've got all those Void Sent, so he's helping out. Then we've got this, which I presume is another trial fight, but I'm not sure what this is. It could be a boss fight, it could be a trial fight. I have no idea what this fella is, but he looks so cool. Some kind of boss. He's got like tangled roots and like, you know what I mean? I don't know what that is. If somebody knows what this model is, if you've seen it before, please let me know. I have not the foggiest. Then we've got Xenos, who seems to be gone full resonant, with his eyes fully empowered. I like his new outfit. We've got, obviously, Warrior of Light on the Moon, and it says, "Oh, Warriors of Light." And then, hold on a minute. So this is flashback sequences. We've got Dirtblander, well, Warrior of Light approaching Uldar. We've got, it's basically flashbacks to the previous expansions all building up. Are you prepared? No, not really. Not really at all. But yeah, so we've got Stormblood stuff here, flashbacks of that. We've got Emmett Selk flashback. Obviously, at the same time, as we mentioned earlier, we've got Emmett Selk sort of like overdub over this, like narration. Are you prepared to meet the end? Not really. This is cool. We've got all the ancient ones in their robed form surrounding us, telling us some storyline. And then we have a vision, definitely a vision or an apparition of Zodiac. So this is actual Zodiac. This is the big bad. And it does not disappoint, does it? It's very similar to the Amano art, if I remember correctly, of Zodiac. So this is clearly on the moon. I still think that we'll be going into Subterranea as well as probably the final, or one of the final zones. Probably the 5th or 6th zone. And we'll probably face off against Zodiac. Or maybe there will be more to it. We got Fan Daniel here in the skin of Asahi on the moon, talking about there must be a way to, talking about the rejoining. He wants to go back to the good old days when the Asians were all together and the shards were all one. We're summoning here. This looks like a flashback to what we did on the Hades fight, unless they're reusing that, but it looked a bit flashbacky to me. Then we have, obviously, Warrior of Light looking up at Hydaelyn from the surface of the moon, which is a beautiful shot, by the way. This is absolutely captivating. You can kind of see these other continents. I don't think we have even seen this, so this is going to be our main continent. I have no idea what this continent is. People are going to be looking at this for years to come and going, where's this? Is this the new world? Is it sideways? Is this like, you know, is this Vilbrand and then this is the new world? Where's this? Or is this the south? Or what is this? It's very hard to know, isn't it? But it does zoom upwards, and then you've got an island that looks like Thavnair. So I have no idea. There's a lot of speculation, and showing a globe in a cutscene, as World of Warcraft found out, was quite a bad idea, because people are going to be starting to pick apart that. This bit is worrying, though. Towards the end, a lot of people are wondering who's going to die in this expansion. And I'm not necessarily worried about death in this expansion, but I'm interested to see why Alphino basically is seen here. This is something that is quite a popularized thing in other pop culture. I didn't even realize that. But when you have one of these and you're not included, it's kind of like a death screen. Whoever is not included in the screen dies. Traditionally, that's what I've been told. Alphino's not in this, or he doesn't see himself in this, so I don't know what's going on with there. But it's rare to see Alice with no Alphino. So we got Tataru, we got Estinian, we got Y'shtola, Alice, we got our character, we got Grahatir, Orianjay, we got Thancred and Kryl. Weird, isn't it? Where's Thancred? Is Thancred? Is Alphino gonna die? Thancred's not gonna die. Don't worry about that. It's too bloody important. It's just too important. But and then the last one is the December 7th launch date, which is obviously pushed back to December the 7th because of the delays and things. But basically, that's all I got from this. The dialogue itself is very confusing. That's something that I really couldn't pick apart myself. Maybe you have your own speculations on that. But I think for the most part, we got everything from this. It does look to me like there's more to the rain of fire from the sky than just meteors. I think it's actually creatures from the sky. I think we're going to have a Lunar Cry thing. Zodiac is interesting. We're going to have obviously some interactions with him. It makes sense that we would see an apparition of him. You can see stars in the background, so maybe we're on the surface of the moon. He can contact us with an avatar type form, a holographic form, because you can see through him. But he is sealed in the moon. That was the whole storyline in the first place, wasn't it? Hydaelyn sealed him in the moon. So, speaking of Hydaelyn, though, this shot probably holds a lot more significance than we're aware of. I don't know. There's a lot to take apart here. This character is going to be important to the storyline as a new guy that we talk to. The monsters are horrific. I can't wait to see it. There's going to be lots of loss, I think. Lots of people are going to lose their lives as this invasion thing happens. This makes me question everything. Maybe we go talk to Hydaelyn as well. Or maybe that's not I have no idea. This probably is something to do with Vinar then. I literally no idea. But there's a lot of cool stuff there. But anyway, hopefully I saw stuff maybe you didn't, and maybe I added to that. A lot of people are speculating and watching these videos, and it's awesome, isn't it? But that's my 2 cents on it, and what I think is going to happen based on all bits and pieces together, including the media tour experience that I had. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for Endwalker, as you probably are aware. The delays don't really bother me. I'd rather have a complete product and enjoy that than have something that the developers and the team are not happy with. You know, I'd rather than be happy with something and ship that and everyone to give it like a 9 out of 10 rather than, you know, what it could be if there was game-breaking bugs or whatever. We don't know, honestly, but I just hope that they don't take it too hard and they keep doing what they're doing, and I'm looking forward to this. But yeah, let me know what you think about this trailer, if I missed anything. I certainly did with dialogue since we didn't feature it in this video, but what are your speculations and hopes for this? Let me know below. I'll read them and I'll try and get involved, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Much love. Look at that guy getting squoze. All the hype for this expansion, seriously.